Tanko banko, don't bang
Yeah,
bang.
it's like, what
You
the hell is that?
What the hell? This is actually making me stupider. You're listening to the Afterworld Podcast. My name is Mankind.
And I'm your boy, High Rise One.
We're a hip-hop show. We interview hip-hop people,
Yeah.
and we are for the people.
By the people.
That was a little redundant, but that's right. A lot of people.
A lot of people.
What up, Cody? Cody's in the building because we are at Engraves. You know what the deal is. And guess what? We have a very special guest in the house, you guys.
A very, very special
Very
guest.
special. Let's just pretend we didn't do this last week.
Yeah.
And this is the first time you're hearing. Actually, this is probably the first time you're hearing it. But my guy, Fase.
Hey,
Phase.
what up?
What's good?
What up? What up?
How's it
What
going?
up?
Got it
what up,
right
what up?
on the first time that time. Nailed it. That's why we do it twice, because, you know what I mean? It's like, I got to get it right.
Can never do anything.
I got to get it right.
Right.
And I heard something recently, and he said, I can't remember who said it, but he said your second, when when you're like writing rhymes,
Yeah.
or you're doing anything,
Uh-huh.
and your second, what do they call that? Your second take.
Second take.
It's not your first draft. It's
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
go
Right.
back and you
That's
do
what
your
I was
second
saying.
one is
You
a-
never do anything. You know
what I'm saying? So
yeah.
your
Right.
second take is when you kind of make it look like you knew what you were doing the first time. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like, I know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
This ain't my first time, right? But of course you've done that again. So what's good, my guy? How are you?
I'm good.
Good. It's
I'm
good
doing
to
all
see
right.
you again, man.
Yeah.
What did you think of Engraves last time? You stayed, didn't you?
Yeah, I stayed the most of the time.
Yeah.
I stayed, it was awesome.
Or were you tweeting or Facebooking or Instagramming? You put out something from here.
I put out something.
Or was that just a
on-
message to me? I think you just messaged me. And I was like, I'm still here. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh,
I
shit.
tweeted about it. I got on Facebook, and it's crazy. There were a lot of people coming in and out.
Really?
A lot of new artists I had never even met before. I was surprised.
Wow.
And there was also a lot of music. A lot of music. It was sick. It was sick
Nice.
to walk in between rooms and hear 3 different beats, 3 different songs.
Yeah.
There was people that were walking into one room and writing their verse, and then they go into the other room and finish their
drop
verse to a different beat.
What?
Dope.
Yeah, it was crazy. But it
Oh,
was just a bunch of
shit.
people
Dope.
making music. It was dope.
Yeah.
I liked it
That's
a lot.
fucking sick.
Yeah.
So you've been here with us before. So when we're done, I leave and I go start editing it. So I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
actually experienced like the actual functioning of Engraves. You know what I mean? We're here
Yeah,
early.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's a cool little creative
Yeah.
culture.
That's dope.
And it builds up over the day because
course.
as more people come in, someone has a suggestion or someone
Yeah.
wants to change something, you end up with a totally different product by the time it's done.
Right?
Because there's so many people giving input on stuff.
That's
so.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
How many people were like roughly? Where did you see?
I left at like 4:00, but there were probably about like
Coming and going.
like 15 different artists.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really interesting, and I hadn't met a lot of them, which I was
Right.
surprised about.
Well, there's so many new artists right now. I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
there's a whole new I don't even know if it's a freshman class. It's like the draft is happening. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's
Yeah.
a ton. Have you seen the Who's Hotta competition thing that they're doing?
Yeah, I saw that.
Right.
I-
And so that's a whole nother group of people.
Yeah, I was just about to say I didn't even know the majority of those people. I
Yeah,
was looking
totally.
them up.
I think I
It's
knew
crazy.
one, honestly.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, to be in a competition like that, you're probably trying to get your name out. You're probably not
Yeah.
very well established.
But it's cool that that's there for them.
Absolutely, yeah. And I guess they've been doing it for a little while. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean,
I saw a ad for it like a while ago last year, but I don't think it was as popular.
right.
Because there weren't enough artists to really push it, but now, like we're talking about now, there's so many new people that
Yeah.
it's starting to really build up.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
Dude, it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy that we're doing this here. I mean, you knew what to expect, so now you're ready. You
Yeah.
even brought someone with you. Shout out Zach.
I got Zach, the programmer, with me. We're gonna do some voiceovers for a
Yes.
video game we're working on.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, and we're gonna have all of AZMP here too soon.
That's what's
Yeah, so we're just
up.
gonna make music here today. We're gonna do some voice recording for like some comedy skits for
Yep.
a video game we're working on.
Yep.
Just kind of hang out.
Yes, we're going to get into all that and more with your guy, Fase.
Hey.
You're listening to the Afterworld Podcast. We got Lulu and Benny Loke in this motherfucker. What's
What's
up,
up,
y'all?
Benny?
What's good? We got the people in the place. My
What
favorite
up, people?
producer,
Part of
Lulu.
people.
Motherfucking High Rise One. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm good.
That's what's up. Yo, you over there cutting the head. Who's your barber, man?
Who's your barber?
Hey.
It needs to be Rizuno over at Dunbar,
Yo,
32
cut down
North
to
Stone.
Dunbar, Kingdom Cuts on the corner of Stone and Fort Lowell, right?
Yeah, Stone and Fort Lowell. You got Big Ron in there, Ronnie Mac. You got Mida. You got the ladies upstairs, Jamila, Joanne. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else. What's going on? So come on down there and get your nice little wig cut.
That's what's
we
up.
do it up, man.
I just met a barber. I remember I talked about that guy Carlton. Do you guys? I don't know if I mentioned it, but from Chicago, he introduced me to a barber, Sean Richardson. Have you met him?
No, I haven't met him though.
Cool ass dude. He's trying to do what we doing here, kind of get into the hip hop media.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he has his building and he's got
Right.
a little. He fucks with Enzyme.
Okay.
You know what I
All
mean?
right.
So it's like he's got a guy to record him. You know what I
That's
mean?
what's
So yeah,
Audio,
it's
video, and audio, huh?
audio and video. Yeah,
Okay, that's what's up.
they trying to get it going, man. It's a very cool thing. I love seeing just all the new media popping up. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
It's
right.
like from left and from right, and just I mean, just what you're doing. Honestly, let's talk about a little bit about Fase because
Yeah,
you're a
yeah.
game developer. I don't know if it's commonly known that you're a game developer, but I knew that because I'm
Yeah.
special.
It's known somewhat. I think a lot of people in the hip hop don't care.
Well,
But
Okay.
that's what's kind of cool about it is that there are people that care about the video game stuff.
Definitely.
That start getting into hip hop because I have that blend between the two things. There's people in the hip hop community that start getting into video games.
Exactly,
Right.
and that goes to a really good point. That you guys don't know this, but we recorded last week. It didn't come out. The computer crashed. The mixer went bash bang boom, and when I got home, the audio was all fucked up. It was
Shitty.
all fucked up.
Rest in
But
peace.
you
Right.
said something, and I was able to save it, and I put out a promo, and you were talking about having something else attached to your music. Can you elaborate a little bit on what you?
Yeah, I actually really like that. You made me sound super smart the way you clipped that up. I like it.
That's why we do it. How we do.
Afterworld Podcast
You
takes
know?
care of their guests.
Hey, man.
That's right, man.
Yeah, I think what I was trying to get at with that is that I have the video game thing going, and it gets a lot of traction because it's unique. What I'm doing with it is unique. It's a channel where there's not as many people and things, and I'm able to put my music, which is my music is very good, but it's not at a point where it would stand out amongst like the top
Right.
musicians, you know?
Right,
Okay.
and it's
So-
like the running of the bulls.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
The way you really got to think about industries and stuff. If you want to do hip hop as a job, if you want to be a musician as a career, you really have to pitch yourself against people and objectively think, yeah, what am I better at? What am I worse at? And things like that. And
Right.
if you can't compete with people to get that career,
Right.
if you can't get to that next level, then you have to find other things that you can pursue that will help push it, you know. And that's
Right.
what the video game thing for me is. Like, my music would get 200 300 plays, and then once I started integrating all my hip hop music into
Yeah.
the video games that we make that already get tons of views, then people start caring about my music a lot more.
You have a level of passion about those topics, though, that I don't see in most people about most things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So even rappers, when we're
Oh,
talking to rappers about their art, their craft, they're not as passionate as this. So I noticed that you didn't say stand out. You know what I mean? It's like, don't find I don't know if you meant to do that intentionally, but is stand out too cliche? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is
Well,
it just
I think
because I can stand out? I can wear a pink wig and stand out. You know what I mean? It's
I
like
think it's really easy to give boilerplate advice. It's
Right.
so easy to just stand up and be like, you can do it. You just gotta stand out, or even
Yeah.
not even stand out. You can also just say like, I don't know, there's just so many different cliche things you
Right.
can say. They don't provide any help to anybody when you say them.
Right.
But realistic advice, like objectively pit your music against somebody else who is a step higher than you,
Right.
and see if you have what it takes to overcome that step to
Right.
get to the next level. I think those are things people need to hear, like the reality of things. Like you should be able to say like, my music isn't as good as it should be to get to where I want to be, so I'm going to make it better.
Right. And
That's
because
a
of
realistic
this
thing.
and this. If you have a hurdle, if it's your own personal hurdle, if it's a collective hurdle,
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean? It's
And
identifying those problems.
And people would rather just hear some motivational stuff like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're
Right.
great.
That's
no,
dope.
keep going." You know?
Right. Yeah.
You got to keep
That-
it 100 with yourself, man.
Exactly.
Keep it 100 with yourself.
Right.
The more realistic you are about your goals and where you're at, the
Mhm.
faster you're going to achieve things.
Yeah.
Then if
There
you
it
live
is.
in like sort of, I think it's a big thing with hip hop. Just a lot of people want to feel included. They want to feel accomplished with
Certainly.
it. And it's
Everywhere they do.
Yeah.
Everywhere, not just hip hop.
Yeah, and everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything.
Right,
But
right.
I think in the hip hop community, I think there's like a big wave of like, you got to be positive. You can't down your own music and stuff
Right,
like that.
right.
But I think it's okay to look like I'm not saying hate yourself. I'm just saying
Oh,
like
right.
look at your music objectively and be like, I could do that better in the future. I could do this and that.
Totally.
Like pick things apart and care about it in that sense.
That's what makes
Don't just try to push your hip hop.
Right.
Like don't try to push your music because you make music.
Yes,
Right,
absolutely. So would it be fair to say that it's like find your passions? If it's bicycling, you know what I mean? Find
Yeah,
a way.
yeah.
If you're a fucking barber, find a way.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if you're serious and you want to go further with music, right?
Exactly.
You seriously want to go further, you want to do something else, you want to make change.
Yeah.
Whether it's jingles or
And
folds.
there's something to
you know
say
what I
too
mean?
about like
No.
if you're a hobbyist, that's okay too.
Right.
You know? You
Absolutely.
don't have
Right.
to push yourself at that level. You have to decide what you want to be, what your goals are,
Right.
and then objectively look at how to go about that. But I think a lot of people, they just get nervous about not being complimented.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
That sounds rude.
I think
No,
that, I
yeah,
think
the brutal honesty, man.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
A lot of people
Absolutely,
can't
but
take
honest
brutal
with yourself
honesty.
Right.
is the right way to say
Right,
it. That's what I'm
right.
trying to get
and
at.
it's a fine line too, because
It
I think
is.
there's
Yeah.
also this excitement that builds around it, and you're like, oh, you're starting to feel that electricity.
Oh,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? And you just want to show
Oh, I
somebody.
mean-
you just want verification.
When you perform live, you can get lost in that. I mean, we got AZMP. We did 32 shows in 4 months,
Wow.
and we didn't make a single. Usually, we're making music like every other week.
Right.
We didn't make a single song for those 4 months because we were just riding off the adrenaline high
Absolutely.
of like, man, we're good at performing, and then it flushed out because we just sort of leveled at like
Right.
we just wanted the
adrenaline.
the adrenaline, the word you just used a moment ago about just the acceptance
Oh yeah, yeah.
of
Right.
being
Yeah.
like, oh,
Ver-
people liked my
yeah.
performance. That was great. That's
Accepted.
all I
Yeah,
needed.
you want to be verified. You
Yeah.
just need a verification real quick.
The
just that you're
verification.
absolutely. I'm doing the right thing,
That
right?
little blue check mark.
Yeah, right. It's
Yeah,
like
there.
because
It
you're
is.
doing it, and especially when you're an artist, it's the first thing you. I think most
whole-
people,
Yeah.
you're gonna be unsure.
Yeah.
You're gonna
They
listen
like
to it.
me?
And you're gonna be like,
They like me. They like me.
Yeah,
They really
yeah.
like me.
oh my god,
They like me.
do they really like me?
Yeah.
And then there's that whole thing like, no, they don't really like you. Like,
Yeah.
they
Well,
don't.
Like,
even
most-
if they
most people,
don't,
yeah.
it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
It
Right.
doesn't.
No.
It
But
really
that's
doesn't.
that's what I'm saying. That's a hump. That's a hurdle
Yeah.
that you have to get over. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You have to be comfortable enough to play somebody your music and honestly, objectively take their criticisms. They might not like it.
Definitely.
They might love it. They might fall down on the floor, flipping and flopping, telling you how much they love what you just did. And you can't let that fool you.
Yeah.
Because they're lying. Like they don't love it that much.
Right. Be-
They're stroking the ego to some extent. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Unless they're actually are, unless they really do. And if they really do, guess what they're going to do? They're going to turn around, they're going to share it. They're going to talk about you, they're going to help you
Definitely, yeah.
get further in your career. They're not just going to say, "Man, you're dope. Let's go get some 40s." You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, what are we doing now? We're going to go play some video games?" "Oh, well, I thought that was it. You played me your song. You want to play it in the car? All right, let's go play it in the car on the way." You know what I mean? It's like we're just making
There's
music to
there's-
play it for our
There's
friends.
certain people that will to get to that point where they just get.
Yeah.
They become involved. They want to support you.
Right.
It's almost like being like in hip hop. It's almost like being like a community leader in politics at
Right.
some point, where people get so invested in your art and what you're doing and your shows and things like that. If you look at people like Cash Lansky,
Right.
he has a huge following of local people. He does things that like bring everyone together and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And if you can get people to do that, that's important for you.
That's
more
through the
more so
music.
than being accepted.
Absolutely.
You know?
Right.
Absolutely.
Because
Definitely.
being a fan of the music first and foremost itself is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That right there alone can take that edge off of wanting to be accepted.
That's an
because-
art in itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So just the fan concept of it alone,
Yeah.
you start feeling like, okay,
'Cause we're
I
all
don't really
fans.
need to accept. Exactly. That's what I'm
First.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be a fan first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once you're a fan first, then once you start creating your own music, you're like, okay, yeah, this is good enough. I don't give a shit what anybody else
Right.
says. This is good enough that I can let everyone else hear this.
Right.
And I know people are going to like it, even if they don't like it. You're going
Right.
to like it. Give yourself some time. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? It's kind of like,
exactly.
it's kind of like, putting boosters on your own. shit.
Answer me this: Did the first rap that you ever wrote? Did
Yeah.
you keep it to
Oh.
yourself, or did you run out there and start screaming it to everybody? The first one, the first shit you came up with, like that very first. If you even remember the very
I
first
remember.
fucking one,
I
whatever it was.
I could talk about
I let
mine.
everybody
Yeah,
hear it.
did you? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Did you run out there and like, look at me, or was you like, nah, let me hold on to this?
Private
Like,
link on SoundCloud. I uploaded it to SoundCloud. Private link because I was a producer, and I was
Well-
like, and I had an idea for a song. I was like, oh, it'd be so cool to write a song like this, and I wrote it, and I was super self-conscious about how my voice sounded.
Right.
Wow.
Which I think a lot of people that start producing, going to rap, they do this. They detune their voice
Yeah.
down. Yeah, Benny Log knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
You detune your voice because you feel self-conscious about it. And I sent it to like Jaka Zulu and 3 other people. I sent it to like 3 people, and I was like, I prefaced it. I sent a message before I sent it, like, oh, this is total garbage. I know this is super bad. I know it fucking sucks. I know I should never rap. But check this out really quick.
yeah.
You know?
So here's the thing. Producing first and then going into rapping,
Yeah.
huge advantage.
Oh, crazy advantage.
Huge
Yeah.
advantage. Like you
Really?
already have, if you're able, like, so I would say that a person can actually be a natural rapper. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
and that's not to say you can't be a natural
No, that's
musician
fair.
too. There's musicians that can be absolutely natural. I
totally
don't
fair.
know if rap music technology is something that you can be born with. It's a natural. I mean, you can have an affinity for it.
The charisma that it takes to rap, that's something that can come naturally. Yeah.
Absolutely, right? So if you're able to actually make music and it's much harder. It's much harder to get into that for the general public, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's one thing to be able to kind of put a little poem together, put a little rap together, and then say it, and maybe you sounded good or not, but you know what's original is your voice, your technique, your look, all of that, right?
Yeah.
When you playing a beat and that shit is just straight trash, like,
Yeah.
oh my God. I don't want to throw nobody under the bus, but my guy used to make some. You know who I'm talking about too, right? My guy used to make some beats, dog, and you'd be like, "Is this shit even looping?" Like,
Oh,
hell,
yeah,
like,
horrible.
It sounded like somebody just started kicking a computer, right? Like,
That's
Yeah,
like that
man.
garage band. You throw in those little preset little things together. You're like, oh my God, I made a beat.
yeah, right. And it's like, dude, it's tanko banko, don't bang
Yeah,
bang.
it's like, what
You
the
like,
hell is that?
what the hell? This is actually making me stupider to listen to. Like, it's fucking my whole shit up. You know what I mean? So there's a level that you like. I feel like the entry level hump. You know what I mean? Is so much greater. So much greater.
Learning curve for producing.
Yes.
is incredibly
But
higher
once
than
you're
rap.
able, if you are able to get over that hump, I feel like you are already predisposed to be able to at least put together some melodies or some lines, some harmonics, you know what I mean? Something. Because you're going to have
Well-
that, because you'll be able to put them in your line. And really, when you just rapping, if you just follow the beat, follow the melody hook, you can fucking make a whole, you know, you fool them, make them think that you can, you know what I mean? It's
I
like,
think it's sort of like a contractor builds the house, but
Yeah.
an architect designs the house. An architect could be a really good contractor,
Right.
Because they understand what the
absolutely.
contractor has to do.
But
they,
they're
they have the
rarely.
blueprint.
Sometimes they do, and sometimes they're really great at it. But usually they don't. They're
Yeah,
not, I'm not
usually
going to
the
waste my
architect wants
fucking
to be an
time.
architect, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, yeah, I don't know. That's just so. That's my head fucking going around in there. What I wanted. Long story, way long. Like, we're talking about the collaborations, just the origin stories, and how we're in this new space of all these. So check it out. We have all these new rappers, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a direct correlation to the types of things like the round table. that have been going
yeah,
on
yeah.
for a few months now, and that's like it's almost sowing seeds into the community where it's like, okay, well, we've already planted producers.
Yeah.
Guess how fast we're gonna go rappers? If you've got producers planted, you know what I mean? You don't even have to plant rappers, honestly. Rappers fall off the producer plant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Right, yeah.
crazy. So we've been doing, and I actually caught your set at the round table.
Yeah.
This is a total redo of last week. I'm gonna act like we did.
Yeah, but I mean.
But you know, and I fucks with Halsero heavy, Max Sama heavy. You know, we love Smash Lames. We love Awesome Beats. We love all those guys, man. And you in particular, though, I thought you brought a really unique aspect and perspective to the round table.
I was definitely miles of difference between everyone else
Yeah.
that was up there.
Right.
Everyone was posting like head naughty tracks, things that are kind of like they got rhythm and flow to it, and I did like a 3-minute like opera ballad.
Yeah,
type
right. Yeah.
It was out there. It had crazy drums. Synths.
It was an epic soundtrack to like a Beowulf like movie.
Oh, no
you know
shit.
what I mean? It was like
It was like a soundtrack song and less of just like a hip hop beat. It was
Yeah.
like boom bappy. So
Right.
it stood out, but I get it like standing out sometimes good.
Right,
you know?
right.
Yeah.
I mean, well, you know what, and that's why I'm like, you know, I'm starting to rethink when I'm not going to use the word stand out anymore. I'm going to use the word, I don't know, what is it? It's like because all you did was you just used one of your like branches. You know what I mean? It's like one of you used this one instead of this. You know what I mean? It's like you were just going into your epic soundtrack mode. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like you didn't bring the video game boom bap or this or that. You know what I mean? So it's like
I think
where the
instead
hell?
of instead of standing out, more like be shameless. So it's like
True.
that would be
Take
more
risks.
important. Yeah, things that like
Yeah.
you can actively try to stand out, but if you just stand out by default, or
Yeah.
if you don't stand out by default, just stand behind whatever you're doing, whatever you want to do.
I would
'Cause
say
love
that
music.
you stood out by you weren't you weren't trying to stand out though.
No, it's just that was the music. I came up with this idea. I had this 6,000 square foot basement called Local Artist Network.
I
we used
remember that.
Yeah, we used to throw hip hop shows down there.
What?
And it was crazy. I had a recording
Holy
studio
shit,
down
you
there.
were Local Artist Network? I thought
Yeah.
that was like some Tucson funded government
It was.
shit.
I started a nonprofit. I went down to City Hall and I had this fight with the Department of Transportation about building usage, and I fought to create like a community center for hip hop. It got taken apart because I got sued, which sucks. But we're gonna try to start it back up again this year and find land that we can really like have a community-driven space for art, not just hip hop, for art. You know.
I love
and
it.
for artists that don't have a chance to do things because they don't have the space or the resources to do
Right.
it. You know.
It's a pretty good
'Cause
idea,
that's-
man.
Yeah, because that's
So
as a
important.
kid, that's what I
Salute.
had.
So
Yeah,
important. And
but
yeah.
but anyway, so I had land and we were down there and I had this idea because I had made these FWXX, it's called Fuck With The Vision, these mixtapes.
Okay.
And they all had these like kind of ongoing themes where I was like this non-self-aware SoundCloud rapper,
Okay.
just making really ignorant music.
Yes, yeah.
And then as it progressed,
Almost like a mockumentary kind of.
yeah, it really was. And as it progressed, I sort of actually fell into the role of being a rapper, and it started to become self-aware. But it was funny because the irony of it and the story of it kind of blended into my actual life.
Yeah. Wow.
And I started making really personal music. And after the second one, I made one called Fuck With The Vision 2, the movie.
Right.
After the second one, I started coming to the third one. I was like, well, that one was like this like epic story. Like every song had this crazy story on it. So I was like, this one I'm gonna make like a movie soundtrack. Like it's gonna be all about narrative, all about story. I wanted to use violins. I wanted to use large ambient drums. I wanted to have these very singy hooks on them that told stories. So I kind of built up that whole cinematic experience in the music. It took me like 2.5 years, and it's something that came really organic without looking at things that I wanted to imitate or anything. It was just something where I was like, it'd be really cool to like have a violin on every song, and then I did it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is sick. And
Yeah.
that music.
Epic journey.
I never
So-
thought about standing out. I was just kind of doing whatever I thought would be cool.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
and that's what I'm
right
talking about, being
there.
shameless.
Yes.
I didn't let the influence of like, oh, that guy's popular, I want to
Right.
make music like him. Like
Right.
that had zero influence on those songs, and that's
Yeah.
kind of what makes them special. Is it's like, it's that moment, it's the basement, it's that vibe, that energy that we had down there,
Right.
encapsulated in those songs.
So don't be embarrassed to do what you love.
Yeah,
Don't ever be embarrassed, because that's another hurdle. That's the thing that's holding a lot of people back from being
Yeah.
a unique artist.
That's the
Hip-hop's
thing
always
that
had a-
makes you stand out.
Hip hop's
It
always
does.
had a stigma
Being
of
you.
you have to be cool
It's
in
the-
order to
Right,
be
right.
successful in
Right.
hip hop, you know? But definitely with Odd Future and things like that have happened now,
Yeah.
it's really easy to not have to act cool.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah,
be
man.
unique.
Yeah, in order
And
to
that's
be
just being,
successful.
just kind of be be
Be
yourself.
you.
Yeah.
Just
You know
be
what I mean?
you.
And if that comes off just like someone else, so be it.
Yeah,
Right.
So
exactly.
be it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's been plenty of rappers where you've been like, oh man, he just sounds exactly like this old dude. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like, I'm sure every time a big major rapper comes out, they make comparisons to the old rapper that he sounds
Yeah.
like, or
Yeah,
wherever he
definitely.
bit his style from, or whoever wrote his. You know what I mean? It's like, what is the? It's trust the process. It's the journey that is the reward. You know what I mean? It's not whatever like is in front of you right now. Go through the process, find it, make sure you like it. You know what I mean? If
Right.
you're listening to it, you like your music, right?
Yeah.
You should like your music.
Definitely,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I
I
mean?
think
It's
that's
like-
There it
important
is.
too.
it's important, man.
There
If
it
you
is.
because if you're making music but you listen to everything else but your own shit, like did you ever see Donald Glover, Childish Gambino stand up?
Yeah.
And
oh,
do you remember where he talked about listening to his own music?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, dude, you should be able to listen to your own music.
I think you
Fuck.
can see that growth in him too, because starting from Campfire, I think he was definitely trying to make music that was like, this will be popular.
Right.
This is a character. This
Right.
ain't me.
Right.
And now, like, he is Childish Gambino. That's
Yeah.
him. He's left that point of irony.
Right.
And the music he makes is really
Him.
him. Yeah. It's not a
Exactly.
character anymore.
It's very unique.
Yeah. And I relate to that, like the story I just told. I relate to that.
I know that's what so I was just gonna say it's so
you
parallel.
get to a point of and I think a lot of artists have been like that. You get to a point where you stop worrying about like, I need to do this like that. Like if you
Yeah.
talk to another rapper and you're like, well, ASAP Rocky got popular when he did this and that, we should do something kind of like that, as opposed to
Right.
being like, well, I could do this and that and it would create me into this. You know, it's
Yeah. Right.
visualizing the projection of your own future,
Right.
instead of just trying to copy exactly what someone else has done.
Exactly, because you're not gonna
Yeah.
be able to do that.
No.
Honestly, it's like you can be. It's one thing to be inspired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's great. Inspiration's amazing. You should draw
Yes.
from your inspiration.
Let
As
it
a matter of
inspire
fact,
you.
I remember when
Let
I
it.
first started. I like started with poetry, and then I wasn't really I wasn't really figuring out how to like. I was writing like plain sheet of paper, top left corner to bottom right corner, wall of words.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A wall of words,
I feel
time
that.
and time again. So what I ended up doing was, I know how to put words together, and I
Yeah.
know how to do them on a beat. But what I don't know how to do is put it into a format of a verse in a timely manner. I don't know what a 16 is. I have no respect for the coming and going of a track.
whole format.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
format of the track. So I actually listened to I don't know. I think it was like Heavy D at the time, Heavy
Yeah.
D, and I was like, okay, and then like Big Daddy Kane, and so I would rap my verse while they're rapping their verses,
Yes.
making sure that I'm hitting all the same like marks that they're hitting. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
and we're done. Are we done? Okay. I can do, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
And and then within that, it would be, okay, I would learn transitions. It's like, oh, he kind of just did that right into this and kept going. You know what I mean? It's like, so I pick up little tricks, but I was straight up copying. Like I was just listening to the record and literally rapping over not even an instrumental, the straight LP.
I think that's how most rappers start, though.
Right? I'm
They
like,
get
yo.
that. I mean, I did that with Slug, with Atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That's the
That's
first
it.
thing I did was
Right.
literally write
That's just
raps,
it.
like you said, exactly over his verses.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do the same thing. I would learn the whole verse first of theirs, right? Then I would say, okay, I'm about to go back and rewrite it, but I would change the words and sometimes make every word
Yep.
they used, I would try to use the opposite of that.
Okay.
So I had a whole thing. So I would have a totally different verse.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Probably talking about something totally different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the same style. That's how I got started, man.
And you know what's crazy is that I bet those verses, like when you wrote that verse, you thought, oh man, this shit sounds
This
just
mine.
like
Hot.
the dude.
Yeah.
Sound just like that dude. And then you spit
Yeah.
it, and then motherfuckers be like, yeah, they don't, I don't hear it. I don't hear
Right.
what you said.
I don't hear
You
that.
said you was trying to sound like LL. I don't hear none of that.
I don't
Not
hear LL
to-
at all. I don't
Not
hear
to
that.
contradict
Yeah.
what we just talked about. It's kind of funny how everybody has that does produce or does rap. Like a lot of hip hop is built on imitation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Absolutely.
I was talking about not letting things influence you, but I mean that's where it starts.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I
Is it?
think the reason we're saying that is
Yeah.
because we know we have a problem. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like, we know if we say, open the floodgates, y'all.
Right.
It's going to be karaoke night.
Well, I think yeah,
everywhere. Like they're going to
I
be.
think you see that a lot with like the a lot of newer rappers
Yeah.
too, where
Mhm.
it's kind of like an echo chamber. But I think that's the problem is that it isn't that it's imitation. It's that people don't evolve from that point.
Right.
Right.
And we're not letting people evolve from that point.
Right.
Like someone gets famous at 17 for making a song that sounds loosely similar to another song.
Totally.
Right.
And instead of evolving, they're just like, well, I'm just gonna do this over and over
Yeah.
again. Juice
I'm going to
WRLD.
imitate
Yep.
someone else's great
And then,
song.
there's another side.
know?
You flip that coin,
Yeah.
and then you got Bad Bobby, who is like famous for a fucking talk show, you know, and
Oh, yeah,
somebody
yeah.
writes her a song, and now she's got clout, and then there's going to be people imitating this, you know, like installed persona.
That's
You know what
and
I
it's
mean?
weirder when it's people that are outsiders too.
Yeah,
like
it's
hip-hop.
crazy.
You know who
It's
Getter
They're not
is?
really
Who?
fans.
Getter.
Get her.
Get her.
No.
He's a artist. He makes like bass music and EDM and
Okay.
stuff. He decided that he was gonna be a rapper, and he's doing like 90s style boom bap, hip hop, like
Wow.
rap, like dirty, like kill people rap.
no
I
shit.
forgot the name.
Isham,
It's
horrorcore.
Brother
Like
Rich Hung or something?
horrorcore almost.
Okay. Grave
but
Diggers.
Bushwick Bill type
It's
shit?
Bushwick
still
Bill.
in like sort of a Wu-Tang Clan style
Right.
cadence,
Oh,
the way he
okay.
Right,
writes the
right.
songs.
So like Grave Diggers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's very like all the songs are boom bap, and it's just weird because he's never really been part of like the hip hop community. He's
Right.
been like white middle America
Okay.
kid, and he started doing like EDM and electronic music and became famous.
Wow.
What do you think about that? What do you think about him transitioning into doing like some like very like classic boom bap rap? You like it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If he's got a passion for that, you know, keep it alive, man. Honestly, it will be a time where we're done with that shit. People, it's going to be an archival type
Yeah.
level type
Yeah,
shit. So
yeah.
if there's people
Definitely.
that are still creating new, that's fucking phenomenal.
And as much as a lot of us hate it that people can quote unquote infiltrate hip hop,
Yeah,
like real
yeah.
hip hop like that. I mean, because I know a lot of us hate to see, especially when we're like, "Oh, that's fucking horrible."
It's
Why
horrible.
is this
I
on the
roll my
why,
eyes at
why
first.
why is this on the hip hop list with this? That's not hip hop.
That's not
Yeah.
hip-hop.
You know what I'm saying? That's not rap. As much as we hate it, we have to accept that hip hop is all
inclusive.
right.
It's open to everybody.
to everyone, man.
That means old grandmas.
Yeah, hip hop is your
That
homeboy.
means
That's like,
that
no,
would be
they're
dope.
cool.
Little kids.
Right.
Yeah,
You feel
I mean-
me?
I want to find the first grandma rapper. That
I
has
mean-
to be
Oh,
in the
there are
spot.
some.
I'm sure
Yeah,
there
yeah.
are.
You will
I mean,
find
Google
some,
that
bro.
shit. I'm sure she's out there already.
I'm gonna create
Yeah,
a new
man,
one.
I
so-
mean, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know, I mean, even in Tucson, you see such a diverse.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like with my music, I've always been sort of an outsider in that. That's why I rolled my eyes
Wow.
at first.
You feel like an outsider.
Oh yeah, are you
See?
kidding me? I'm half Mexican, half Norwegian.
Mhm.
So I grew up in South Tucson. So a lot of the
Norwegian
kids that
kid.
were
Good. You good?
a lot of the kids that were Hispanic didn't like me because I looked white,
Yeah.
and a lot of kids that were white didn't like me.
Because you look Hispanic.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I really was in that middle ground. And then I liked video games and shit, so I was kind of alienated from the hip hop community because at the time,
Yeah.
you know, video games weren't cool. Like I was
Yeah.
like they thought it was nerdy, but I liked both of those things. So I was
Right.
very much on the outside, and I started playing with things like I detune my voice to sound like a girl, and I'll sing the hook in a girl voice, and it sounds believably like a girl.
Right.
And I'll layer it and different things like that. And at first, it was like super off-putting to people, but then once they saw like the range and the ability of storytelling that it gave me and
Right.
how it helped me make music, people started to really get into it. People started trying to copy it even.
Right.
you know?
Right.
So it was funny because I started off at a place of being an outsider, but then as soon as I wasn't an outsider and people started to accept me, like in the Tucson hip hop community, then I started looking at outsiders being like, nah.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
I
yeah.
immediately started gatekeeping. Like,
You son of a bitch.
well, I realized it like once it's like there's a door and you have to convince them to let you pass the door. Once you get in the door, you just turn around.
Right.
The next person, you go, well, why should I let you in?
Right.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
and
You got to
it's
go through the
funny.
same shit I went through, buddy.
Yeah.
Right.
So I realized
get
that
you.
I had been doing that to some extent for a couple months after I started really getting invited to do shows and shit. Yeah, so I just thought that was an interesting observation. I was just wondering what you guys think.
Could you chalk it up
about the
to part of the
Getter thing.
process?
Yeah.
That's part of the process. Hey, man, you want to get to where I've got, buddy? You got to go through the process.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah.
do this. You got to do that. And then
I almost think that's a self-sabotaging system, though, because it's almost impossible to get in that door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For real. Like, you were already in the door. You had to, in your head, you had to come through the door. All you had to do was claim your spot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Honestly, you like,
Sometimes,
fuck this.
But
That's
the best
nice,
thing
okay.
about hip hop is there's always a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
which
yeah.
side
Yeah.
of the door is the right side to be on?
Right.
And
Always
that door
totally
might not be cool next month.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That might not be the door to be
You know what I'm
in
saying? We
next
fucked around
month
and built a
or
house
next week.
on the other side of the door. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Tore
Yeah.
that other shit down.
Right.
Now you on it.
That's
You
it.
know what I mean? I feel you on that.
Mumble rap was not accepted by the general hip hop community
At all. At all.
like 3 years ago, and now it's like the most popular
Just
thing.
like
you
just
know?
like auto-tune. Remember, Jay-Z even came out with his
Auto-tune,
own
exact
Death to
same thing,
Auto-Tune.
yeah.
He did a song with
Yeah.
Rick Rubin. Death
There's
to
always a
Auto-Tune.
paradigm
Yeah.
shift.
And it was like, nah, Jay,
And
we're gonna
I-
stick with this.
Definitely.
It's like this
I mean, yeah.
big conscious mind. Hip hop is like this uncontrolled brain that just keeps
Absolutely,
evolving.
yeah.
Like you just said, hip hop is like your grandma. She accepts everybody.
Everything.
It's like, no, they're okay, baby. Let them come on in for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
hip-hop.
You
It's
come
like,
in,
no.
fuck your couch. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, well, now we deal with that. It's flexible, and you turn around, you don't know. You
Right.
don't know what
Right.
this shit's going to look like tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's
You know
why
what
I
I mean?
think the future with like hip hop and video games is gonna be a big thing.
Definitely.
Let me just transition that real quick.
Definitely. Tell us.
Remember they had the fighting game with all the rappers in it back in the day?
Yeah.
Def Jam.
The
Yes,
Def Jam.
We've actually talked
Remember
about.
that?
I'm dead serious. I will start a Kickstarter to create a Tucson hip hop
Oh,
Def
man.
Jam like fighting game.
Oh,
I
shit.
will
That'd be
make
dope.
that if there is enough people that want to buy it.
Are you kidding me? Son,
That was the shit.
I'd
Man,
buy
that game,
it.
that game was really the shit, and it
Ankle.
was so cool.
It was dope.
Yeah, and that was like the first time that game was like the first time that hip hop was integrated
Right,
with video games.
Really?
Yeah,
But I
and
mean,
everybody was playing that shit.
Think
Everybody.
about it.
Everybody.
Hip hop generally is perpetuated by other things, by concerts
Yes.
or by
Yep.
clothes and other things,
Yeah.
right? So it always needs something else to latch onto. And every video game has music or needs music,
Right,
you know?
exactly.
So it's like it's something that pairs together really well, and there's already people that are kind of doing it at a successful level, at like a career level.
Definitely.
So I've really been trying to take as much like hip hop music and the personality of being a rapper, being like somebody, you know, having that personality, that charisma, and transitioning it into
Yeah.
these video games. I've been making.
Absolutely. Absolutely,
Yeah.
man. And I mean, I remember not that long ago when like Minecraft parodies was a career choice that you could make.
God,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
No, it's real.
yeah, and
And
like,
you gotta ask, like, is that rap?
It is.
It is.
It absolutely
Is that right?
is. It
Damn.
is. You know what? How I'm starting to feel is if you can put it in front of like 4 people who don't listen to rap and they think it's rap,
Then it's
rap.
rap. Yeah. All
It's
right.
rap to the motherfucker. If
I
any
agree.
of them think it's rap, we have to claim the shit. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that's actually my dog. Yeah. Yeah. I recognize that tail. Fuck.
Yeah.
Hey, guy, come on.
I'm all right.
You know, we got to
Right.
take responsibility
Yeah.
for what we've done.
True.
We've opened the floodgates, and it's like, you know, it's so. Here's another thing, right? Let's talk about the video game though here in a
Yeah,
second. But I wanted to make a point from earlier, like music that happened just 300 years ago, right?
Yeah.
There's still people that listen to it. There's still people that play it, but there's nobody creating new 300-year-old music. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
what is hip hop going to look like in 300 years? Will they have moved on to some new lick-lack shit? You know, like they don't even rap anymore. They just like do body movements and hit drums with their with their body parts and shit. You know
that's
what
what's
I mean?
great about music, though, is that you always find some way. It's just a way for people to connect to each other, to relate.
But just talking about how rap, it's like the Borg. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It will eat the whole shit. It will eat all the video games. Now you would be hard pressed to find a video game that doesn't have some hip hop
Exactly.
associated
Yeah,
with it,
Right.
if not completely,
Right.
overwhelmingly consumed by it.
I was gonna say that's the thing, is that it'll get consumed
Yeah.
like that, and it'll happen, and then people will probably get sick of it, or it'll grow too big, and people will get interested in something else, and
I mean,
transition
it'll just
out.
change.
Yeah.
It'll just change. It'll turn into mumble rap. It'll turn into auto-tune. You know what I mean? I just got done seeing something. I was showing you. Get your tracks on in the NBA. You want your shit, you want your music playing and during NBA
Doing
like
shoot-around,
NBA
doing
commercials and
shoot-arounds.
shoot-arounds and pre-games,
Yeah.
post-games. You want to hear your joints? Yeah.
Sign up.
Fuck
Make
yeah.
the track.
Actually, I do. You know what I
That'd be
mean?
pretty sick.
So it's like when we're talking about getting into different arenas, lots of people are passionate about basketball that are rappers. Why would you not be trying to get, head in that direction?
Shaq
Go
wrote a
to the
rap
fucking
song.
high school games, play your music during, you know what I mean?
Damian
You're the
Lillard.
halftime show. That's how I'm thinking. It's like go to where I can go and make it happen. Like
Yeah.
I want it to happen. If it's Pima, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
If Pima
exactly.
turns into the U of A, turns
Why
into
the
Staples Center, you know
People
what I mean?
are
Right.
so accepting of hip hop and rap now. It's really easy
Absolutely.
to integrate it with almost
it's
anything.
crazy.
Absolutely, yeah, and just
You see it everywhere.
think outside
The
of the box.
stigma has changed, which is good. You know?
Definitely.
But-
I see them as tentacles. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
flexible. They can grab
There's-
anything,
they're-
and they can set that shit right back down.
And at the
Silly.
end points of each one, at like the pressing front line of each one, it's like so radically different. From the
yeah,
other.
right.
It's so
Yeah,
crazy.
true.
It's so crazy to see like the mainstream hip hop and what's on the radio is going in such a radically different direction than like all the people that are popular on SoundCloud
Yeah.
right now that are throwing
Yeah.
huge concerts and making as much money as those radio artists, you know?
You know what that made me think of was that Rap Van shirt.
Oh yeah,
all the
the rap
heads.
band shirt with the
Yeah.
monster.
I would
Yeah.
love to. I can't even think of who's on that shirt right now, but I would love to go and look at. That's a perfect example of a prime time in Tucson. That was
Exactly.
an epicenter.
Marley
of
B,
Tucson
Jaka
hip-hop.
Zulu, Cash Lansky, Sui Blue.
Wow.
There's a couple more names I'm forgetting. Johnny Red. Shit. There's two more people I forgot them. I'm sorry.
It was a long
Yeah.
time ago.
Yeah.
Raptoberfest, I think in 2017.
Yeah.
Or
Raptoberfest. Yeah, so we did 9 rap van shows in
Wow.
the month of October.
was Lando on that shirt?
Lando was not on that shirt.
No.
No, he didn't. He might have been. I don't think so. Because he did his rap van earlier
That's
than
right.
everyone else, I think.
That's right.
So he wasn't on that shirt for that reason, because he
Right.
was part of like the mainline run, and we were trying to get everybody in for
Right.
October.
But just thinking about the flip of that, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's still people, still Marley B clearly is still getting it.
Well, we
You
had
know-
huge artists come on it too after that, like Alex Wiley.
Yes.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yes.
That was unreal.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? It's like you're talking about a time that people in the same scene today would have no clue what you're talking about.
Oh yeah,
A
for
lot
sure.
they, like go I don't know, is Johnny Red still around?
Yeah, he doesn't really make music as
Right.
much. He does. He's an entrepreneur in different fields
But
now.
he was popping.
Oh yeah,
In Tucson music, Johnny Red was popping for years.
for years. Yeah,
Years.
I mean, I think he could still probably throw a show and have
Definitely.
a couple hundred people show up if he
Definitely.
pushed it hard enough. You know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Black One's another example of like people that were integrated into certain what do they call them?
Communities,
eras.
eras.
Certain eras. And so when I hear someone like you say you feel like an outsider at any point of your life, in this town, it just makes me feel like, well, damn, everybody has to then at some point, unless you're surrounded by like yes men and.
But I think it's way more inclusive now to where like people like the round table, people can just show up and be like, I'm a producer.
Yes.
And everyone's like, that's cool, welcome.
Right.
Word.
And it doesn't
And
matter
like
what
this.
level of music you're at, what style, and that's the way it should be.
Right.
I think that's great, and I think that helps people's confidence, so they progress a lot faster than before when they're like before pushing buttons, you'd show up to these places and you'd get like checked. Like people wanted to hear your music, they wanted to hear what you're about. If you're a rapper, they are you a battle rapper?
Right.
Are you just making songs? Like what's your mic quality like? But that isn't really the case anymore. Now it's like, oh, I got a studio, you can record way better mic quality than this. This is really good. We can make it better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's
absolutely.
It's way more of like everyone wants to help each other than like everyone checking each other.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I mean, coming up, there weren't things like engraves. There weren't things like the local artist network.
There was nothing like pushing buttons.
Nothing like pushing buttons.
Yeah.
The round table.
Yeah.
Tucson Hip Hop Festival. We could go on and on. You know what I mean? At this point, the Rap Van. You know what I'm saying? It's like we've had so much unique, creative
Scratch
content.
Shack too.
Yeah, the Scratch Shack.
I just gotta throw that in there. R.I.P.
Right? Well, I mean, gone but not forgotten, and probably not gone forever. Not gone for good.
The Scratch
Somebody's gonna
Shack's
bring that shit back.
Spiritual successor is the Hip Hop Festival.
Definitely,
because all the people that would help put on the shows and work the shows for the Scratch Shack, all of us, we were the ones that got together and did the festival. Really,
I think it's fair to say that it's the evolution.
Yeah, we saw that people would much rather have a big yearly festival than they would have these like small shows that we'd put on,
Yeah, a couple times a year, right?
Yeah. So it was like a transition that Pike sort of made where Pike, well, going back to what we were talking about before, he looked objectively and thought, I'm putting a lot of effort into this. Not enough people are getting something out of it, so I'm gonna divert and do something that more people will like, and it'll be more successful.
More beneficial for everyone involved. And I think that's one thing that the festival's really trying to do is like I get confused. I often get tunnel vision, and I'm obsessive. So I love it. I'll just run. By the time I'm down, I'm a mile away down the road. By the time you're like, hey,
I feel that. That's being an artist, man.
Yeah, they're like, we weren't gonna
crazy.
do that. It's like, and I've been down there. I'm like, all right, well, let me rewind that shit. Let's start this shit over again because I just ran with it. So it's like when I was first thinking about this, I was like, festival, hip hop festival, right?
Yeah.
What do you want at a hip hop festival? You want all the big names. You want all, and so I'm like, oh well, this is gonna be different because we're gonna have all the big no names, right? It's like, and I'm like, okay. And so I had my own kind of ideas going into it, and it's like, all right, well, once you sit down and you understand that this is really trying to serve the community. Oh shit! So we're like the community food bank of festivals.
I've gone to so many places in the United States. I've traveled so much doing tours and working and other things. I've never seen a festival that's almost entirely stood up other than 2 acts by only local acts.
Yeah, right.
It's crazy. I don't think there's. I would be genuinely surprised if there was anything remotely close to this anywhere else in the United States.
Yeah, seriously. And I mean, if there was, you'd already know about it.
Exactly.
I feel like collectively,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Somebody.
And that's what's kind of cool about Tucson right now. You can do those kind of things.
Yeah.
You know?
Right? Yeah. I mean, honestly, and I had to change my mindset. So it's like, okay, it actually is serving the community. It's not a game. It's not a rep race. It's not a free for all.
Yeah.
It is literally methodically giving a chance and opportunities to people who wouldn't otherwise be able to do
Nobody
this.
has to pay to play.
It gives it gives you opportunities even if you're not performing.
Right, absolutely.
And I think a lot of the people that complain about not being able to perform need to realize that that's not what the community's about.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If you didn't get to perform, it's not because someone didn't like you or anything. You have to sit back, okay,
right.
They didn't have space for me because there was somebody that had this or that, just like we were talking about before.
Yeah.
And be like, all right, so I got to work on those things, and then next year I can perform.
Absolutely.
And that's a cool thing to be honest with yourself about.
Totally.
Instead of getting upset and directing that anger you have towards people that are putting on a show,
Right.
like spending way more time getting paid half as much as they should. Some people not even getting paid just to put on a festival.
A lot of volunteer work going into it.
Yeah, so that people can enjoy music.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
that's what it comes down to, is that like, I don't know. People direct their anger towards it, and it just makes me mad.
Well, I mean, you know, they're passionate about their art.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think they don't know, you know, it's the same problem that they have with trying to get it out. You know, you're frustrated with your career, the direction of it. So if you can't even do this, that's a free festival in your own town. Well, what hope do you have to get into South by Southwest, Rolling Loud, you know, Whitsummers?
Yeah.
You know,
well, there was a cool story about the first hip hop festival, or I think, it was the first hip hop festival. I was maintaining one of the stages, and this guy came up to perform and just absolutely bombed.
Yeah.
He was like singing over like an auto-tune track.
Ooh.
And and he wasn't auto-tuned.
Ooh.
And it sounded kind of, and people were kind of making fun of him almost, like kind of teasing him in the crowd, and he just fought through it and kept performing. And then at the end of his performance, like even I was kind of giving him a face like, tone it down, you know. But he, at the end of the performance, he was like, I'm so happy I got to perform and play my song. And they were good sounding songs.
Right.
He was a bad performer, but he was a great
well produced
rapper. Yeah, he was a good producer, good rapper. And he was like, I know that the music was really bad. The performance was really bad. I'm super sorry, but I'm grateful that I get to be here, and I'm gonna come back next year, and I'm gonna be amazing at this, and you guys are all gonna be in awe of how good I am at this. So thank you for at least sitting here and watching me, even if you were making fun of me. And then he just walked off stage.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the coolest shit you can do.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome.
Did he come back?
So much
Has
respect.
he been back
for him.
yet?
Yeah, he came back last year. I forgot his name. He came back last year though, and he did a pretty decent performance.
Nice.
He was way better at performing.
Nice.
But that's the thing about like the hip hop festival and things like that. Like being honest with yourself like that is sick. People will
definitely.
Respect you. And
Absolutely.
people will like your music just for that fact.
Definitely. Definitely. And not only that, it's like there's so much networking ability. Like there's if you're just there, if you're just standing there, like there's opportunities literally 360 all around you. You know what I mean? It's like I stood in one place for probably 90 minutes and literally just like tickered around. It's like, okay, going from one. I'm like, oh, Aquafied Boogie Brothers, what's good? Let's take a, hey, want to take a picture? Yeah. What's good, man? Y'all going to, okay, 410. I'll see y'all on that stage, blah, blah, blah. All right, hey, all right. Hey, Breadman P, what's good? Oh, shit, what's going down, man? What time you playing? Yeah, oh, can we get a picture? All right, man. Yo, what's good? Oh, shit, Maxama, what's happening, man? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like, yo, can I get a picture?
Well,
yo, let's collab.
People in Tucson, people in hip hop, but specifically people that are in the Tucson hip hop community.
Yeah.
Anybody that makes music here is lucky, because in the video game industry, first of all, we go to San Francisco for this event that's kind of the same thing. That's like an indie-only video game people event.
Right.
You go there and it's wildly expensive. Everyone feels like they're getting taken advantage of, and it is a complete shit show of people trying to compete for the love and adoration of corporations who are going to give them money and fund them. It's literally groups of people running around at each other's throat, backstabbing each other, trying to set up these meetings at these restaurants during the thing. It's just a shit show.
And
it's
how much
crazy.
does it cost to get in?
$800.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's the thing.
See what I'm saying?
And it's fun. It's all great. A lot of people have fun. A lot of people get fucked over. A lot of people, but it's pure chaos, and not everybody is included. You know, a lot of people are shoved out because they don't like what they stand for. They don't think they're good enough. Things like that. And specifically in the Tucson hip hop community, we have the exact opposite of that.
Right.
And the same scale of event, which
Definitely.
is unreal.
Right.
You know?
It's crazy. It's crazy. 15 minutes? All right, man. We're going to wrap it up. But you know what I'm saying? Let's go into more about Fase. Fase. Motherfucking Fase. You did, well, what do you want to talk about? Video games, music, community, Future.
I wanna know something.
You know what? You're part of a crew called AZMP. You guys are producers, rappers, graphic designers. What
Yeah,
else?
yeah. We're kind of jack of all trades.
Nice.
Like that.
Yeah. So we do video work. We do music. All of us are rappers.
Nice.
The 3 of us are producers. We all.
Who's in it?
So it's me. It's Phase, OTM, Ace.
One Track Mind.
One
Ace.
Track Minded. Yeah, Ace. Ace One Ray Gun. He's
Okay.
He's like probably one of the best rappers I know. He can rap in straight triplets at like double time for about ever. For
Is
like
he playing on
5
the
minutes
monsoon?
straight.
Is he playing on the monsoon stage?
The monsoon stage. No, that's a different guy.
Different Ace.
Yeah, so this guy's Ace One.
Ace
He's part of
One.
AZMP, and then him and Dirt.
Right.
So Dirt's another like one of the best rappers I know. We have an album coming out that's just me, Ace, and Dirt too.
Nice.
So it's like a little subgroup inside of AZMP.
Right.
So we got that going on, but they're gonna be on stage with me at the hip hop festival.
Yeah. What time is your
So-
slot?
My slot is 5:30 on the outside stage on
Sweet.
the main day. Yeah.
So that will, that's.
I wrote in on the description at the bottom. I was like, "Give me main stage, or I'm gonna riot. I'm gonna start a riot." And then I got emailed back. They're like, "Congratulations, outside stage right before main stage." I was like, "All right."
So I don't. Did we talk? We talked about this on the Zico. I feel like the stages. And no, we talked about this on Trust the Process.
Trust the process.
We
That's
said
right.
we were
Yeah.
talking about. It's very misleading
Yeah.
that
Main
we call
stage.
one the main stage
Oh yeah,
and
we
one
had
the
talked
outside
about
stage,
that last
right?
week. Yeah.
Because
There
you
is no
know,
main
once
stage.
once those smoke pillars start popping off, there's no other place to
The
be.
way I had a conversation with someone this week, and the way that they built it out now with these different days and the different stages
Yeah.
and things is that more people will head to whatever stage is happening at that point in time because there's
Right.
less going on now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you have the ability to perform to more people and not get missed now, as opposed to
Right.
years before where there's 5 different stages happening at
Yeah.
once.
Same time. Yeah.
You know, and one stage has all the people, and it is misleading. Like main stage just means that it's later in night indoors.
Right, and yeah, why?
Yeah.
But if there's one stage called the main stage, isn't that the one everybody's want to perform on?
Yeah.
I mean,
If you call
honestly,
it the main
yeah,
stage,
yeah.
If you call
Yeah.
it the main stage, everybody go, "Oh, I want to perform on the main stage."
right?
Yeah,
Why can't
I
I
agree with
perform
that.
on the main stage?
So,
Yeah.
would it behoove the Tucson Hip Hop Fest to maybe sponsor the stages?
Yeah, I
Jim
think
Click stage, you know, Tucson Medical Center stage.
that's a really good idea.
dope.
You know what I
And
mean?
Pike should hear about that idea. I think he would be down for that.
Sahara Smoke Stop.
I think they do that, but they don't name the stage after the sponsor.
Right.
So like the main stage is sponsored by the University of Arizona
Humanities,
After
right?
Canon Studies.
Absolutely.
So and they have, you know, they go out of their way to have like a little thing where they talk about their courses and their
Yeah.
majors and things like that during that stage time.
Right.
But I think they could definitely probably name them, and that would avoid a
I
lot
think it
of, like,
would. I think,
confusion.
I think it would just avoid, and not even that it's a big deal, honestly.
What I think
because-
would be cool for the festival, I think there's a lot of people that get confused, or a lot of people that think that something is going wrong or something like that. They should have some sort of public forum
Yeah.
where artists and other people that are part of the community can give input on things that are happening with the
Right.
festival. Because
Okay.
I think it's super hard, unless you personally know Pike or Jocelyn, it is incredibly hard to go to someone and tell them, like, hey, you guys have sort of not realized this thing right here,
Right.
and you could maybe do it this way and it could be better or not. I just want to let you know. There's no
A
way
town
to-
hall.
Yeah.
Have a couple of town halls.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's all you got to do.
Yeah, so, yeah, that and only do like 1 or 2
Yeah.
a year.
That's what I'm thinking. Like day 2, maybe.
It would be awesome.
Just do one in the summer, one in the winter.
Because so many people come up to me and they're like, "You should tell Pike this about the festival." I'm like,
Why don't you tell?
"You should tell
You
Pike
should
this
tell
about
him.
the yeah."
Text or Twitter is that?
Really,
Always
but
on Twitter.
I don't think Pike wants to get bombarded by people constantly on his phone about
Yeah.
ideas for the festival. So I think
Right.
that would be a really good idea to open up like some sort of public forum.
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
And we're already so good at that kind of stuff with the round table and things
You know,
like that.
and
so.
not only that, but it would behoove someone to do that shit on their own. Pike's got a lot on his plate. If
Oh,
if
yeah.
somebody had that idea, like if we were as you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think like you're the type of person where if you needed it, if that was going to benefit you and you had the ability to do, you would do it.
Oh yeah.
We
If
wouldn't
I had LAN open right now, I'd
Oh,
just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be
Which
no
it will be later this year, so maybe I'll do it for next year.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe
Yeah,
we will.
exactly.
Maybe, and you know, and maybe it doesn't even have to be. It can grow. Like you
Yeah.
know, maybe it can be a town hall for a lot of different things.
Yeah.
It can be like a general state of the state kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that would be important. I think specifically Tucson's hip hop community has grown way past just like music.
Yeah.
Because we
True.
put on shows.
Definitely.
We keep local businesses alive.
Definitely.
A large majority of local businesses would not be able to survive without us.
Absolutely. I mean, we're just as we're a part of the community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not only that, like we are your resource. Use us. When I saw
Definitely.
Lando Chill in that Vantage West commercial,
Oh yeah, that
I
was
flipped
crazy.
the fuck out.
I got so excited.
I did too.
I never shared a commercial
You
to
know
people
what I'm
before.
saying?
Yeah, I was
I
like,
was
yo, you
doing-
gotta check out this commercial for a band.
Right. I was doing backflips. I was so proud. I was beaming. He's from Chicago, transplanted to Tucson, and since left. I don't care. I loved it. It's the principle of the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's awesome that people
Yeah.
are. It's awesome people are utilizing.
Absolutely,
the community,
because
yeah.
I'm looking at it from the perspective of Vantage West. There's no way that they know his story. Maybe someone did.
Yeah.
Maybe someone did, but I seriously doubt it. You know what I mean? I think somebody knew who he was and was able to make that connection and
Yeah.
made it happen. You know what I mean? So and all they know is it's just Tucson guy, Lando Chill.
Yeah.
It's this Tucson guy. You go to U of A. You know what I mean? Or I don't even know if he did or
Definitely.
not. Like,
well, that's what's kind of important with the video games that I'm making too, because I have people that are in the hip hop community, in the rap community. They do voiceovers and they do lines and different things in the games, and people recognize their voice, and then when they go to the page for the game or whatever, they find their music,
Yeah.
and it blows up your music, and it blows up you
Definitely.
as a personality, and it's awesome. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to give those opportunities through video games, you know, like that. Specifically, we have a VR game coming out called Flavor Town, where you have to figure out who killed the mayor of Flavor Town,
Flavortown.
who looks
Yes.
suspiciously a lot like Guy Fieri.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're putting that game out, but that game
Fieri.
we've made like we've made probably about like 7 or 8 songs. I think only 3 or 4 of them got in there, but we've made tons of songs that are
Yeah.
in there, that are in that world and everything.
Yes.
And our
Cool,
hope
man.
is that when people hear them and experience them, they'll be like, "Oh, these guys are actually kind of good at making music."
Right.
And then
Cool.
that branches out, you know.
Right.
So
Which it should.
it should.
It will.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got the potential to. And if you guys start dropping Flavortown records, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
I want it.
you
I want
never
it to,
know.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that I really wish I want to do more things that are community based, like LAN, and
Yeah.
be able to have people, because there's so many talented people here, and I have to and I meet them through things like this.
Like Engraves.
Yeah, like Engraves,
Yeah.
and through the hip hop festival, I've met
Yep.
people. But I want to set up like a community hub where people be creative,
Definitely.
like that, and get involved in, you know, if someone has a really good idea for. If
Yeah.
someone wants to start working on video games and rap
Right.
music, if someone wants to start working on like rap music and something else, fashion, you know,
Right. Absolutely.
like we've gotten to the point we're big enough to where we need that.
Open the fucking floodgates.
Yeah.
Let's go. Like
Yeah.
we've already opened the floodgates to come in. Let's open them the other way and let's seriously branch out.
Yeah.
Into it's already everywhere. It's
Definitely.
already everywhere.
Mayor
so why-
Rothschild is on
Yeah.
one of the days for the
Yeah.
hip hop festival. Like,
Mayor
that's
fucking
wild.
Rothschild.
The mayor of the city we're
Right?
in is supporting what we're
Seriously.
all doing together. You know?
Yeah. You know, before we cut, man, I would be remiss if I didn't mention so many podcasts popping up right now. Like,
Oh yeah.
I want to encourage
Run.
more.
Let me on the science of things.
Yes, TSOT season 4 just dropped episode 1.
Please. It's really good.
Yeah, right.
It's always
great.
good.
Yeah, I love Run's voice. I love his charisma. I love his presentation. He's
Welcome
all
back,
right.
Ron. Welcome
Yeah.
back, man.
He's a goddamn model American.
Built for the podcast.
model
He
American.
definitely is,
Yeah.
man. You know what I mean? And he's an interesting guy too.
Oh Oh yeah.
So it's like TSOT's back. I just got done talking to Sean Richardson about game tapes. He's trying to start that.
Okay.
I just found out. I guess they're in episode 41, but there's this podcast called the Hush Podcast.
The Hush podcast.
Hush Podcast. And they talk about dating and
runs
sex.
it
Oh,
too.
dating and all that shit.
The Hood Diner.
The Hood Diner. That's
yeah.
I just got onto that.
the Homie Casual and DJ
Yeah.
Century. That is a phenomenal
That's a
podcast.
good podcast.
Yeah,
I
that's
just listened to
high
that.
quality.
This past week, and then there's also Lower Arizona.
Lower
started a new
Arizona
one. I
just
think it's
started
called
Cholo Stereo,
Cholo Stereo.
which looks like cholesterol when you hashtag it. When you hashtag Cholo Stereo, it looks just like cholesterol.
Cholesterol.
That's good.
Hashtag
Yeah.
cholesterol.
I was
didn't
like,
realize
dude,
that.
yeah. I was like,
Man.
because it was, I was like, what?
Yeah, do like
first thing in the
Cholo
morning,
dash
you know what I
dash
mean?
stereo.
Yeah, right. Straight up. And I'm sure there's people I'm forgetting, but it's just the fact that people are starting to branch out into other,
Other
the tentacles,
aspects, yeah.
the passion.
We need
and
as many tentacles as we could get.
Right. So
Yeah.
you know what all these podcasts are going to need? Some motherfucking hip-hop music to go in the background for the
Hell
intros,
yeah.
for the outros, for the drops, for
You
the...
guys should start playing songs. Well, that's a problem because you get. Oh no.
So
it
here's
should be
my
good.
thing about playing songs.
Go ahead.
Like, I don't want to take away... In this climate of, like, streams,
Yeah.
I don't want to take away from your stream.
That's understandable.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I'd rather direct the traffic to your feed
Right.
so that you can eat off of that stream. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because
that makes
play
a
the
lot
song,
more sense, yeah.
Right? And so it's like, but...
And plus, this is one of the few podcasts where I've listened to it and the people actually get really in depth about things because
Yeah.
there's no breaks in between things, and
Right.
there's no there's certain podcasts I've heard that people have tried to start where it's all directed towards like let's play a
Yes.
song and then let's talk about this song
Talk
for
about
20
the
minutes
song,
and then
yeah.
play another song, and it's like you can do that, but
Yeah.
I think it's more important to see the personalities of the people making the
Absolutely.
songs.
That's true.
I think that type of format that you're talking about is because it's a more universally applicable format.
Yeah.
So you can just pull anybody.
Oh,
like
yeah.
they don't have to speak well. Everybody's going to have an opinion, and they're going to, what I mean? It's like when
That's
they're
what I like
actually-
about this podcast, though, is that it's very applicable to people that are in Tucson.
Thank you.
Like
We
anyone
appreciate
anyone
it.
from Tucson can listen to it and kind of understand.
And
what's
you know
going
what's
on.
great? This is a perfect example of things that are. This is from the. You can thank the Scratch Shack for this.
Oh, really?
Absolutely, because
Hell
if,
yeah.
if it wasn't for the Scratch Shack, it wouldn't have been the Tucson Hip Hop Festival. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for the
Yeah.
Tucson Hip Hop Festival, we might not have ever thought to start this.
Yeah.
I don't know what the connect. I think the actual connection was that I said, okay, there are enough people to talk to.
are.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like that never clicked. You know what I mean? Until I saw, hey, there's that many rappers that I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Well, shit, let's go talk to some of these motherfuckers. I
just
was
keep
coming
popping
from,
up.
I was coming from the like playing video games. You know,
Yeah.
because I was like World of Warcraft for 20, not 20 years, but like
Yeah.
since '96. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I was a Wrath baby, and so I jumped straight into podcasting, of course, because what do World of Warcraft people do? They fucking talk about it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's
yeah.
like they start a podcast and talk about that shit.
Right.
And so I was heavy. We did like 200 episodes, and so I knew how to podcast, and then I stopped playing World of Warcraft. So and this was post like being interested in Tucson. I've always been in Tucson hip hop my whole life.
Always
I
been a
was
part of
born
it.
into
Yeah,
that
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I took a break, had a kid, and started playing video games.
You take a back seat in Tucson hip hop a lot.
Yeah.
Like everyone does it for a certain amount of time, but then
Yeah.
you always see those opportunities like the Afterworld podcast. You're like, oh, this
Definitely.
is needed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And so it's like, and I think I said that on an episode. The only reason we're doing it is because there's
It's needed.
If it was oversaturated already, we wouldn't have been like,
oh no, there's
let's do
nothing
it
else
too.
like this
Right.
podcast.
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So it's like I want to support people starting shit like this. Whereas, in rap, you say you're a rapper, it's an immediate competition. Whereas I don't know, Tucson still has it. They still have it.
Oh yeah.
So you can't get away from it. So in the realm of hip hop podcasting in the world, in Joe Budden's world, I guess is where we are now.
Yeah.
It's competition. It's heavy competition.
Yeah.
It's no cross promoting. I'm on Spotify and that's it. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I'm not on SoundCloud. I'm not even on iTunes. Spotify's paying him. You know what I mean? So he doesn't have the need to collaborate. Why would he? He doesn't need it on iTunes. He doesn't
Yeah.
need it on SoundCloud when he's getting paid. So it's like So when when I'm running into the Hood Diner, when I'm running into these other podcasters, they're like shocked that it is not shoot on site. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
yo, like, so y'all, so you started that podcast? Oh, okay, what's up,
Well, I
son?
think one
What
person,
episode y'all on, huh?
every person that you get into podcasting to listening to your podcast, and every person that the Hood Diner gets into listening to podcasts, that's gonna cross pollinate.
Right. I'll tell you a secret real quick,
All
and
right.
I'm not going to mention the name, but a podcast, local podcast that I absolutely fucking hated was the reason that I was like, okay, I'm starting my own shit. Fuck this. You know what I mean? It's like, so a little bit started out of spite, but, you know, it was like, I knew that the Hip Hop Fest, I knew I was going to be able to do it, but I was like, yo, nah, this ain't it. You know what I mean? This ain't it. This ain't it. They gone. They long gone now. But, you know, it's just like so many podcasts pop up and they're gone. So it's like, you know, you don't even make it to episode 12.
Yeah, yeah. The average podcast makes it to episode 12.
As a matter of fact, what we did, we recorded 3 episodes and then cut them and threw them in the trash.
Really?
Yeah. First 3 episodes, nobody's ever heard. I actually recently just found. So what we used to do, our first format was we talk for a couple minutes, play 3 songs, local, and then come back, talk for a few minutes about the songs we just heard, and then what's going on this weekend, play 3 more songs, come back, da-da-da. And all we were doing is training ourselves to be able to talk for an hour.
That's definitely something that takes time to figure out.
So, you know, it evolved into show notes, and then eventually we were like, we don't need no damn show notes. We could talk. We can just talk. You know what I'm saying? If I ask you questions, you're going to answer, and I'll just keep asking. Fuck it.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? So it was like, shit, I forgot my point, but yeah, we're good. We're fucking A's. We're at this point, you know. There's this line that you cross in podcasting where it's like, after an hour, if they're still there, they're in there for the long haul. They're not going to cut it off in the last 17 minutes if they've listened for an hour. You know what I mean? So it's like, they know where, and these motherfuckers know me. This is episode 52. Already, so they know I go off on tangents. I take the long around the road. Long story,
First
longer.
Afterworld podcast, 24-hour
You know what I'm saying?
52 here.
Yo,
Let's
so
go.
I had
Benny Locke's here for
We
24
need to wrap it up,
hours. He
but-
ain't leaving.
Locked in, baby. All right, call home, everybody.
Wrap it
This is, you know what I mean? So, shit. I mean, just to close it out, just because I had this idea in my head, hopefully at one of the, it doesn't have to be the Hip Hop Festival. It could be the Unity. It doesn't even have to be a festival. It could be Tucson Meet Yourself. It could be at Engraves. It could be at Local Artist Network, which, goddamn, you got to bring that back.
It's coming back. It's coming back.
How the fuck did I not know about that?
I just woke up at like 3 a.m. and had all these ideas for it last night. So it's coming back.
So I was like, let's set the Guinness Book of World Records for longest continuous cipher. And just pass the motherfucker off. We'll have, you know what I mean?
God
Sign
damn.
up, show up. We're gonna rap for, you know what I mean? And whether it's longest or most people involved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's figure out how to set the Guinness Book of World Records for something in rap. Just like Merce. You know, man, he did the longest freestyle, 24-hour stream freestyle. Got to the,
Debatable.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, debatable.
It's the concept that I'm talking about, that these things are still malleable enough to define them. We're still, like, they don't know enough about rap to be able to define a cipher. You know what I mean? It's like, so we're going to fandangle ourselves into, like, you're going to sneak in the back door. Kind of, not sneak in, but we're going to use our talents to kind of get us in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I'm sure that our collective brain can come up with something. There's going to be a lot of people with like-minded people.
If anyone has really good community-based ideas, come talk to me.
Absolutely,
you know?
absolutely. And you know what?
I can make
it
happen.
I feel
if
like
it's a
that
good
seed
idea.
is what will turn. You know, I mean, already we're flipping the switch on community fucking collaborations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Land's coming back in some way, shape, or form. Even if it's not land, it's coming back. Even as Engraves, even as the Round Table, even as pushing buttons. You know what I mean? The collaborative effort is there. The like-minded people are in the room.
Yeah.
So let's, you know, if it's a video game, if it's a movie, if it's a world record, if it's another festival, or if it's just a fucking town hall meeting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's start generating ideas, more ideas that we can actually finish.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? So, hey, Phase, man, thank you so much, dude.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Honestly, I want to fuck with you some more, man.
Hell yeah.
Yo,
I'll come
Phase got
back
a lot of
on
good ideas.
another time. I'll bring my music shit and I'll do some little improv looping and
let's
stuff.
do it. We're actually trying to develop a little segment where, like, you know, you just play a joint. Can we watch you at your station, like either creating or mixing,
definitely.
affecting, you know, moving, interacting with your set.
I'll come back sometime and we'll do that for
yeah,
sure.
Doesn't that sound? I mean, I want to see that.
That sounds dope.
I would love
like
to see that. You know what I'm saying? So I think
Make
that
it
could be, that could be something, you know, because we're always trying to push, like, what's going to be next? What's going to be next, right? Because as soon as we're done with this, somebody's going to go listen to, okay, so what's next, y'all? You know what I mean? It's like, well, damn, it took us a lot of fucking effort to get this. It took us 2 weeks to get this one, just recorded. So, you know, just trying to stay ahead of these motherfuckers because, I mean, everything now, the consumers are just ready.
Yeah.
So, and eventually maybe we can make some money podcasting.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we could
it'll
make
be
money
possible.
sitting here talking? And as a matter of fact, if the longer we talk, the more money we got paid, would we be not camped out right here fucking 24 hours a day?
Oh, hell
sitting
yeah.
here fucking talking.
Hell yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think that's that crazy of an idea. You know what I mean?
No.
People are monetizing content in all kinds of ways. Even if this
Definitely.
shit was on GTA, on a computer screen in the background when you go up to fucking Highland Hills and go into the third house on the left. You know what I mean? It's like we're part of the channel in GTA. Fucking A's. Afterworld Podcast on a video game. Man.
Yeah.
And it's not that far-fetched because I'm sitting on the couch with a fucking video game designer right now.
There we go.
So my ideas are starting to, like, okay, even if it's not fuck GTA, that's just an example.
Yeah, I know.
But
I know what you
mean.
mean.
It's
Yeah.
like, okay, so I'm already thinking, like, well, how should we continue to work together? And I think that should be the mind state for artists in Tucson. I think keep asking us, what do we got to do? What do we got to do? And, you know, like you said, boilerplate advice is easy to give, but it really has to come from you.
Yeah.
It really has to come from you. You've got to generate it, and we will hopefully accept it if you put the right amount of energy, effort, and passion into it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Honestly, so.
Exactly.
I mean, episode 52, y'all. Motherfucking Phase, Benny Loke, producer Lulu, High Rise Uno. My name is Mankind.
High Rise 1.
This is the Afterworld Podcast. Episode 52, y'all. Peace.